Kill the Lord. In a world full of death, ignorance is bliss. Releasing March 7th, 2024, this event follows Perilous Siege and the Commander as they investigate a string of mysterious disappearances throughout the arc. Releasing along with the event is D, Killer Wife, an alt for D of Perilous Siege and the main character of this event's story. Kill the Lord is available in the archives. Rewards for completion include a lobby background. On a beautiful morning, a woman opens the window to her bedroom. She comments on the weather, and her husband responds in kind. She asks how he is doing, to which he says he's fine. Then she pulls aside a curtain and reveals a small altar. Both of them kneel before the altar, praying to God for protection. Afterwards, the woman packs her bags, stating that they have been helped quite a lot, and thanks to that, her husband is alive today. As she leaves, a heavy iron door is closed, followed by the echo of a lock. Location: the Commander's room. He expresses gladness in that he is finally able to have some spare time. Deciding to take a shower, D and K are inside the shower, ready to go over their next assignment. Feeling deja vu, they tell him that he should be used to this by now. D tells him that their target is a sovereign lady, Camilla Harrington, age 24. The youngest daughter of a high-ranking official in the central government. Status and wealth are both at her disposal. She had been a reserved woman until recently when her husband fell ill. She then started attending gatherings and hosting invite-only events once a week. So what might be the issue with this woman's activities? Events aren't an issue, but the attendees often go missing one by one. This is cause for concern and requires further investigation, and if Perilous Siege is involved, then judgment means either life or death. But first they need to make sure Camilla is guilty, and so they must investigate. If found guilty, then the judgment lies on the Commander. The Commander asks why he is involved this time, and Kay tells him that Camilla is the daughter of a high-ranking official. This is a high-profile case, and they need someone with experience, like the Commander, to carry it out. After going over the rough details of the mission, Dee says that her and the Commander will infiltrate one of these events hosted by Camilla, disguised as a newlywed couple. Since the party's for sovereigns only, being newlyweds makes it easier to make a backstory if need be. Kay explains that Dee will be playing the role of the Commander's wife, as she herself investigates the missing individuals. With a temporary house to avoid suspicion and disguise tools to hide the Commander's popular identity, it is obvious that this mission is very important and very high stakes. The next day, Dee meets up with the Commander, both wearing their disguises for the mission. After briefly commenting on each other's disguises, they head to the temporary house within the Ark, a spacious and luxurious apartment to fit in with the identities for their mission. In fact, it is an apartment where sovereigns are known to gather and live. Dee tells the Commander that the plan is to attend events for sovereigns, pique Camilla's interests, and get invited into one of her exclusive events. Dee hands him a tablet with a made-up backstory that they will be going off of if anyone asks. As the Commander reads, he asks if Dee wrote this, and she says yes. He then asks about a few particular aspects of the story that seem rather peculiar. After that, they head out into the hallway to greet their neighbors, offering them gifts to get to know them better. But the moment they step outside, they see red diffusers placed throughout the corridor, filling the hall with a beautiful floral scent. Sensing somebody approaching, Dee links arms with the Commander as a neighbor rounds the corner. Immediately, they strike up a friendly conversation, and the mission truly begins. The woman remarks that it is nice to see such young people here. Dee says that her husband had recent success with his business, and as they become acquainted, Dee gives the woman a preserved flower, a rare gift given how rare flowers are in the Ark. The woman gives them a scent diffuser, the same as the ones in the hallway. The woman tells them to reach out if they have any questions, and to that, Dee mentions that they are struggling to widen their new social circle. The woman offers for them to attend a few gatherings for couples, to which Dee and the Commander are excited. The woman says that since her husband has been so busy lately, that the two of them can attend the event as well. And with that, the woman leaves. Dee and the Commander head out to check out other places around the apartment. That night, they discuss their plans to attend an event at a hotel on Royal Road. They go over their backstories one more time, and the Commander takes a bath. Upon returning, he sees Dee sitting on his bed, double-cheeked up. She tells the Commander to lie down as she sits and watches throughout the night. The next morning, right as the two of them were about to head out, their doorbell rings, and it's a neighbor from next door, Rosanna. She introduces herself as Rosie, and Dee introduces herself as Diana. The Commander whispers to Dee that the woman is someone he knows, so he puts on a face mask. Diana says her husband is sick, and Rosie says that she'll come back another time, smiling at the Commander before leaving. They both wonder what the boss of Hedonia is doing here, and soon after, they head out to the party. Inside the lavish hotel, the scent of flowers fills the air. Meeting the woman from the apartments before, she states that her husband couldn't make it, as he is a politician. Dee asks if she means businessman, like she said before, and the woman says he's both. A couple approaches the three of them and strike up a conversation with Dee and the commander. As they talk, once again, the man tells a different story from the woman. As Dee and the commander go around talking to various couples, one thing stands out that is common between every single one of them. All husbands are in the business industry, and that they all struggle to maintain the same story. Running into Rosie, she asks the commander what they are up to. Diana interrupts him, and they take the conversation somewhere more private. Dee explains that the mission is confidential. And to that, Rosanna says she can't tell them anything either. Dee asks how Rosanna knew it was the commander under the disguise, and Rosanna laughs. She knows the commander no matter what he wears. Rosanna says that she didn't recognize Dee at first, but now she knows who she is, the famous axe murderer. Dee defends herself, saying that she has the authority to do what she does, and Rosanna smirks, saying that sure she does. Dee asks how Rosanna attended a couples-only event solo, and Rosanna points towards a woman who approaches. As the woman introduces herself, she says her name is Camilla. She asks who the couple is, and Dee introduces herself as Diana, and the commander introduces himself as Steve. Camilla politely asks what they were talking about, not wanting to be rude and interrupt. But Rosie says that they were talking about Rosie's ill husband. Camilla says that her husband had the same incurable disease. Diana asks how he is now, and Camilla says that he is cured, but it still has lingering symptoms, stating that that is why she's here with Rosie, since both their husbands weren't able to attend. Rosie plays along, asking Camilla about it and saying that Steve is experiencing similar symptoms. Diana and Steve play along perfectly, Diana crying and asking Camilla for help, asking her how her husband got better. Even though Dee lays it on thick, Camilla takes the bait, telling them to meet at 8 a.m. at the location written on a piece of paper. Meeting Kay later that night, they go over the intel that they gathered, that the boss of Hedonia is involved, and that she used heartache to get close to Camilla, and that using the same technique yielded the same results. They wonder why Rosanna is involved, when Dee suddenly throws her axe at the door. Rosanna politely asks to come in, saying that she helped them earlier, and to that they reluctantly open the door. Kay asks what a mob boss is doing here, and Rosanna asks what murderers are doing here. Rosanna continues, saying that though they might not have the same goal, they are on the same path, and that working together earlier that day got them all invites to Camilla's event. Rosanna asks them to work with her, but Dee asks why she wants to attend that meeting. To that, Rosanna says that someone messed with a member of her squad, and that they might be associated with that gathering. Rosanna asks to work together once more, and Dee accepts. Kay goes over the intel that she gathered, saying that most of the people that went missing did so voluntarily, saying that they all had something in common as well, be it wanting to be successful or wanting a sick family member to be cured. Kay expresses her frustration with this mission, but regardless she focuses on the task at hand, saying that she'll be outside the event if anything goes wrong, and with that, she leaves the commander and Dee. The commander takes a bath again, and upon returning, he sees Dee sitting on the bed, double-cheeked up yet again. She tells the commander to lie down as she again sits and keeps watch, but he expresses his concerns about the mission with her, saying that he's worried about making the right choice. But in an attempt to calm him down, she rests her hand on his wrist, and her attempt is successful as he falls asleep. The day of the gathering, they approach Camilla's mansion, and with the commander acting sick, they pass through security and make their way inside. Inside the main hall, there are real flowers everywhere, and the floral scent is overwhelming. But while they take the scenery in, Rosanna greets them, and both Dee and Rosanna immediately begin arguing about who is the true wife of the commander. As soon as the clock strikes 8, the clock bell rings, and large doors open, revealing Camilla dressed head to toe in red. She invites the three of them inside, and upon entering, they find a smaller room filled with all sorts of people, even the lady who Dee and the commander first met at the apartment, as well as the couples they met at the gatherings. She stands them in front of a large screen and thanks the three of them for coming, for showing their pain, and she asks them to share their pain in front of the crowd. Rosanna tells her story, and the crowd sighs in sorrow. Camilla holds Rosanna's hand in an attempt to comfort her. Dee lays her acting skills on thick once again, and once again she convinces everyone present. asking Camilla if her husband could ever be cured. And to that, Camilla says of course. Camilla faces the crowd, saying that the Savior has decided to bestow a miracle today to the one who prays the hardest. And one by one, the members of the congregation share their stories of the miracles that they have experienced. Camilla says that she will introduce the person who healed her husband, the one who grants the miracles, and then she pulls out a remote, turning on the screen. But on the screen was nothing. A blank screen. Yet every single one of the congregation cried, prayed, and was moved to extreme emotions at something. Camilla brings a woman in a wheelchair to a room off to the side. Then a moment later, the woman comes running out, no longer paralyzed. The crowd cheers and prays aloud after witnessing the miracle. Camilla preaches to the crowd about the Savior and about the power of miracles. And the crowd kneels and prays in unison. Dee, Steve, and Rosanna text each other about what they are witnessing. And Rosanna tells them that she's out. The person she's looking for is not here, and that this is creeping her out. After the prayer concludes, the crowd stands and Rosanna takes her leave. Dee and the commander take this opportunity to explore the mansion. On the second floor, they find a hall with more red scent diffusers. Dee listens in on a nearby door and hears people inside. Upon entering, they find a few missing people praying. Dee and the commander explain their situation, and the group comforts them. The group tells them that they live here after finding happiness in prayer and the floral scent from the diffusers. They preach to Dee and the commander about their savior, but they are soon interrupted by Camilla, asking them to follow her back to the main hall. When they get there, Camilla tells them that she knows that Steve isn't sick. Dee confirms her suspicions and asks why she brought them here if she knew. Camilla says that she could tell that they wanted to find something, and that she wanted to help them, that she used to be like them, clinging on to everything that gives them hope. She tells them that they can leave if they want, but not to disturb the residents here, and with that, Camilla bids them farewell. After that, Dee informs Kay of the location of the missing people. Her and the commander talk about the people who left of their own accord, and the consequences that they must face for disappearing. Though they found where the missing people are, there is still one person left that they must find. Camilla's husband, the man who was cured from an incurable disease. Heading to the third floor, they find the hall has the strongest floral scent that they have encountered yet. As they make their way to the end of the hall, standing before them is a large iron door, and an insane amount of floral diffusers. Dee breaks down the door with her axe, and they enter. Walking deeper, the scent becomes almost too much, and the commander has a vision of the surface, beautiful and free from raptures. He is lost in a hallucination, and in his hallucination, he sees what he cares for the most, happy, at peace. Then Dee slaps his face, bringing him back to reality, and they continue on. Another door they break down. This time Dee is affected. She dreams of a world where she no longer has to bear the burden of her responsibility. The commander shakes her back to reality, and they break through the third and final door. But instead of an even stronger floral scent, they are met with the smell most incredibly foul. Entering the room, they find it filled with flowers and scent diffusers, and a bed filled with maggots. As Dee approaches the bed to confirm what they are seeing, Camilla rushes in and stops them, asking them what they are doing to her husband. Camilla just wants to help people, to help as many as she can, yet they are the ones who are here to kill her husband. But Dee calls her out, saying that she has deceived her followers. Camilla denies it, that she herself was saved and wanted to share her salvation with others. She screams at Dee and the commander to leave, but Dee raises her axe, explaining that the people who left did so of their own accord, and that Camilla is obviously lost in her own mind. Dee doesn't want to kill her, but she wants to cut open the bed covers and reveal the truth to Camilla, to take the Savior away from the believers and Camilla herself. The choice is the commander's. The choice is Steve's. The choice is yours, dear viewer. Yes, this is another choice event in NIKKE, Goddess of Victory. I love these events. The choice you are presented with is rather important, because depending on what you decide, the lives of thousands of people will be affected. Not just Camilla's and not just the people in the little prayer rooms, but those who know the people who have gone missing. Disclaimer, I have been wanting to do an event overview video about Kill the Lord since, well, like the first one I ever did. And now that it's here, it ties into the event of my last video, which is a complete coincidence and is fucking dope. In this situation, the people are at the lowest of their low. Their lives are so terrible that the idea of something that can make them feel better makes them feel better. Just the idea of it gives them hope. It gives them a reason to keep living, even though it isn't necessarily real or tangible. The believers aren't harming anyone. They aren't necessarily hurting themselves. They are just finding peace, safety, and salvation in something. But to a degree, that isn't necessarily healthy. Taking away their blind faith, bringing them back into the real world, could do more harm than good. But ultimately, the choice is yours. One interesting thing is the inclusion of Rosanna. Again, hot off the heels of Dirty Backyard, we get a glimpse showing that the other members of the Underworld Queen are indeed actively looking for soooo. Some real-world time passes in between when Dirty Backyard was released and Kill the Lord, about a month or two, and about 2 in-game events. Also, it's interesting to see that Rosanna, a gang leader in the Outer Rim, and what she thinks of an assassin who works for the central government. I mean, it's clear that even though they both live rather lawless lives and do dirty business, neither of them have respect for each other's way of life, and the sometimes morally debatable acts that they commit. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. This is the type of content I make on this channel, from event overviews to analyzing characters, some lore videos, or some random NIKKE stuff, maybe a song here and there. My schedule is very irregular. I am sorry. I'm Ganoongagap III. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you all next time.